Dan Perry here with another Dan on Tech Python video. Another looping structure that we have in Python is the while loop. The while loop works similar to the for loop, except that inside of the condition of the while loop, there's no automatic incrementing of whatever the counter that will get you to your ending statement. We have some statements before possibly. We have a question, and as long as the answer is true, we're going to go through the loop. So we'll execute one or more statements, come back up, check the loop. If it's still true, we go back into the loop. If it's false, we exit the loop. With the for loop, we had, for example, for x in range, the range would be incremented or changed each time you went through the loop until you reached the exit condition. In the while loop, we don't have that. We have while and a condition, and then we have our looping instructions. Somewhere in those looping conditions, we have to change a value that will let us get out of the loop. If not, we can be in an infinite loop. For most purposes, we never want to be in an infinite loop. The syntax of the while loop starts with the keyword while, and then you have your conditions. I've created a variable x and I set it to 1. So I'm going to say while x is less than or equal 5. Just like with the for loop and the if, after the while statement, we have to end with a colon. When I hit enter, PyCharm automatically knows to indent my 4 spaces, and then I've got whatever code I need for the while loop. So let's do something simple. Let's just print the value of x. So I've told it to print out the value of x. And if I leave it here, what's going to happen is we'll be in one of those infinite loops. It will go on forever and ever and ever because x is always 1. We've not changed the value of x. And so it will always be less than or equal to 5. So I need to modify the value of x. So I need to say that x is equal to x plus 1. So I'll add 1 to x. Each time it goes through the loop, it's going to print x, then it's going to add 1 to x. As long as x is less than or equal to 5, it will continue through the loop. When it finishes, it's going to exit the loop, and let's go ahead and print something afterwards so we know that it does. I'll just print x's value after it exits the loop. So let's go ahead and run this. And it started with x equal to 1. So it entered the loop, said x equal to 1, entered the loop. This was true. It printed x, added 1 to x, comes back to the top of the loop, checks, because x is now 2, this is still true, enters the loop, prints the 2, adds 1 to x, so x is now 3, or comes back to the top of the loop, checks x is still less than or equal to 5, so it goes in the loop, prints the 3, does the same thing with the 4, x becomes 5, it enters the loop, it prints the 5, after printing the 5, it adds 1 to x, so x is now 6, comes back, checks the condition is now false, so it exits the loop, and it comes down and prints this print statement that says after the loop, and we see x is a value of 6. Now notice the difference when we use the range command. When it would have exceeded the exit condition, it did not change the value of that variable, but with the while loop it does. So we've gone through the while loop and we've added 1 to x each time. I said we need to remember to always increment our value, make change to whatever value will get us out of the loop. I'm going to comment out the x equal x plus 1, and now I'm going to run it. And it's going through and keep saying x equal 1, x equal 1, x equal 1. So if I do a Control C, that will break me out of this structure and I can stop it. So if you get yourself into an infinite loop, holding the Control key down and hitting C will normally break you out of it. I have found that if you are in idle, Control C does not usually work, and you may actually just have to shut down idle and restart. Now I'm going to uncomment the x equal x plus 1. I'm going to show you a shortcut for incrementing x by 1. Instead of saying x equal x plus 1, there is a shortcut that is the plus equal 1. And if I do x plus equal 1, that is the same as saying x is equal to x plus 1. And when I run it, I get the same output as I did before. So a shortcut for adding a value to a variable is to say that the variable plus equal and whatever you want to add to it. There's also a minus equal, an asterisk equal for multiply, and a slash equal for divide. Thank you for watching this Dan on Tech video. Please subscribe to this playlist so you don't miss future videos. Please check out and subscribe to our other Dan on Tech channel playlists.